I'm not sure why I come off as tanned because I don't think I'm that tanned, but cool.
You look great.
Okay. Thank you. You're very cute. Hey guys, I have Naomi Holt. Welcome to my Wednesday night live stream, and I'm extremely thrilled to have Naomi, who I sort of know, but not really. But we're here. It's exciting. We're going to talk about not politics, guys, and I'm so happy to not be talking politics. Last week I didn't do politics, and this week I'm not doing politics. We're branching out. Before we begin and start our beautiful conversation with Naomi, today's Bible verse is from the book of Romans. Go away. The book of Romans, chapter 5, verses 3-4. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character hope. I think that's a great message and kind of fits today's discussion, oddly. That was completely by accident. That was not something I intended to happen. But so Naomi, tell us a little bit about yourself. I've written in like the advertising of you that you are a Miss Universe hopeful, but that happened obviously several years ago. I sort of did it as clickbait, but you're also all about mental health and promoting a positive, healthy image. But I want to hear it in your words. Tell us what you're about and what you're selling, which is a good thing.
Well, who doesn't love clickbait? So welcome to our clickbait channel. It was a finalist for Miss Universe Australia, but I guess I am now a clinical hypnotherapist and strategic psychotherapist. I'm continuing studying to be a psychologist. And
just a pretty face, guys.
I model, so there's the pretty face bit, I guess, but I also use my brain, which is very fun. Yeah, I love mental health. I love empowering women. I love talking about mental health on both sides, men and women. I think that we need to destigmatize, open up the doors that have been closed for that, because mental health isn't something that like only a few people have. We all have mental health. Like mental health is just the health. It's like you have physical health, you have mental health. And we need to be happy to talk about it when maybe our mental health isn't doing as well as it could be. So you go to a doctor when you physically aren't feeling well, and I think it needs to be the same. You need to go to a professional when you're not feeling well mentally. And so I created an Instagram and a website called Mind the Model, which is about open conversations about mental health, about your relationship with your body and how to do self-care. And it's my little baby.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They're just talking about the resolution of your camera. Guys, I think it's an internet problem. It's not her camera. I think her camera is actually probably a good one. But I think it's either my internet or her internet's just not melding well. Apologies about that. But try and listen to the conversation. Yes, she's really pretty, but we can let's try and keep it about the conversation. Sorry about that. I know that's frustrating.
I could connect to my like 4G, but I don't know if I'd like drop out if I did that. So
do you want to try? I don't know. It won't be a big deal. If you did drop out, it would just be a matter of re-clicking. Sorry about that.
I'll just try. We may as well, because we may as well just get it done now if it works. Let's see.
Yeah, get it out of the way. And if it doesn't work, it's fine. Just click back in. I'll refresh it.
Okay, I tried connecting to my phone and it was not even connecting, so we're going to have to stick with this.
Fine, not a problem. Okay, so let's continue. Now, you're obviously about mental health. Now, the reason I think mental health gets such a bad rap is because people automatically think schizophrenia, people automatically think really extreme things, and that's fair enough, they should. But at the same time, when someone wants to talk about mental health, sometimes it might just be something as basic as going outside for half an hour and taking a read, taking time out for yourself. And do you think that's where the stigma exists with mental health? Because it goes either from it goes from 0 to 100 when it might just be, you know, hey, you might not suffer from mental health, but you may get stressed sometimes. Take a half hour out, sit outside in the sun and read or whatever. Do you think that that's probably part of why there's so much stigma with mental health, and that's why you want to help destigmatize it?
Yeah, I do think there's like this misconception. There's a difference between mental health and a mental illness. And I think when people, speak about mental health, they automatically do think of mental illness. And there's so many different levels to that as well. You can be the very debilitating disorders like schizophrenia. But even then, there's researchers who have their PhD who also suffer from schizophrenia who've been told they're never going to work, and then they do it. They find a way. So I think there's this understanding that mental health means you need to be like in an asylum or like you're defected or you're wrong. But it's a lot of the time maybe you're not functioning, and the patterns or the ways you're doing life and your ways of relating to the world are not serving you and not working, and there's new things you could learn which could be better.
New methods. All right, so in like some of my questions that I said to you, how do you define, so mental health, how do you define that? Does that go under the category of body image, self-care, and self-esteem? Does it encapsulate all of that?
So I think mental health is, I guess, just can be anything from that. It can be how you feel about yourself. It can be how you physically feel. It can be the way you're thinking and the thought patterns you're running. It can be, it's so multifaceted that it can be a bit confusing. But if you were having problems with your body, we would also say that's probably a mental health issue. But it's just in terms of maybe it's because of your cognition and the way you were thinking is not helpful and related to how you view your body. So it's like a mental health thing. So it's kind of just an umbrella term for anything to do with your health that isn't physically an issue. And then there's a big connection between your physical health and your mental health that goes both ways anyway.
Yes, exactly right. And would you say that there is, and I could be wrong, I don't know, is mental health a thing that affects men more, affects heavier people more, affects poorer people more, or affects maybe socioeconomically on the other end more? Like, is there a particular statistical average that it affects more? I mean, we know it affects men, and you're obviously not anti-men. You're not one of those feminists, but like in terms, do you know what I mean? Like, is there a category that it hurts more?
So I think mental health doesn't discriminate and mental illness doesn't discriminate. If we talk in terms of suicide, men are definitely more heavily affected from suicide than women. They're usually more successful when they try to commit suicide. And I think a lot of that comes from our boys, and our boys who turn into men are told, don't cry, toughen it up, suck it up, don't be a pussy, which like really isn't helpful for dealing with mental health, because, you know, some things you can take on the shoulder, but there's a lot of things that you can't. And if you can't speak about it without being less of a man, then how are you actually meant to get help? And then our men are getting quite helpless and hopeless because they don't know where to turn. And suicide becomes the problem that we have at the moment in oversimplification.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair. What about in terms of I lost it. Sorry.
I did that all.
Yeah. How professional. What was I going to say? I can't remember. But anyway, okay, so how long have you been modeling?
So I had my first photo shoot when I was 15 and I'm 27 now. So for a long time, but probably professionally for about 7 years.
Oh, okay. And have you modeled for anything that we might have seen before?
Probably lots of things. Bonds. Most people know who Bonds are.
Sure. Yeah.
Target, Kmart, Rip Curl, Osmosis. Cooper's beer. I was in a Cooper's beer ad, which was always funny.
Nice. Hello.
I can't have gluten. I'm intolerant. So they had to like give me a can of beer and like rinse it out and fill it up with water. And I'm like sipping water. And the other girl, they're just making her sip beer. And so I'll let you in on a trade secret. She was given real beer, but usually what they do with beer in a bottle is they empty it and only leave this much in and then fill the rest up with water because it looks exactly like beer. And then your actors aren't getting drunk. But they forgot to do that. They forgot to do that with the other girl on set, and she'd necked 2 beers in like 15 minutes before she was like, I can't keep drinking like this. And they're like, what are you doing? She's like, well, you're giving me beers. And they're like, oh, God.
That's hilarious. That's a good trade secret. That's awesome. Do you think you'll like step into other things like acting or anything like that? Are you happy to just model, sponsor and advocate?
I love acting so much. I did it all through high school, but I think there's only so much. Yeah, I think what I want to do is like a hobby. I'd love to join like a theatre group and have it as like an outlet. But in terms of professional, I have so many things I'm chasing now. Like there is only so much you can take on your plate, and I think I just have more fun acting as a hobby.
Fair enough. So have you, if you got given a full-time role, say on Neighbours or on Home and Away or something, would you take, first of all, partake, and second of all, you could use that to launch the things that are important to you, like mental health and all that kind of stuff? Yeah,
look, I think you need to take any opportunity that comes to you. Like if you're privileged to be given opportunities like that, I think you take them. If that happened, I would definitely run with it. But I think it's also, is it funny, like things like I've been asked to be on reality TV shows before, but
and you've said no?
I've said no because as a psychologist, like I think a certain amount of notoriety is okay, but I don't want my clients coming to me and being so caught up with like what they saw of me on a TV show. Like it's different when I'm doing this and I'm speaking and I'm advocating for mental health. But if I become like a character or a reality TV star, it kind of changes, I guess, my credibility. And
I understand what you're saying. That's very serious of you. That's you've thought of really.
And my passion is helping people. Like I want to help people. I know that I'm in the right, like this is my calling. This is where I'm meant to be. So it's like you kind of have to go, that would be fun, but it's not right. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Hey, without getting too political, I do want to just touch on the word feminism, because you do consider yourself that word. I don't consider myself that word. I'm anti-feminist, but I'm pro-woman, which confuses people. And I'm like, because the feminist that I oppose is not the feminism that you, I think, identify with. The feminism that I oppose is pretty obvious. The feminism I oppose is the angry women that look like men who have blue armpit hair and whatever. I oppose that. But so tell us why you're happy still to identify as that when the movement has shifted so much.
I think a word has the power you give it. And I think you can identify in so many different ways. And to me, what I was taught as a feminist is somebody who stands for equality for both sexes. It's equal rights for both. It's not about one over the other. It's just about everybody having an even seat at the table. And I can do it. I think when anyone gets too far on either side, it's not helpful. Like,
no, it's not.
Either side of the wings, if you get too polarized, you're not being helpful. Like it's not necessarily like you're not going to be heard by the other side. You get tunnel vision. And I think like for me, like I identify with the word feminist because I do still think we have, can you hear me? Sorry.
It's breaking up a little bit. Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't hear you, but it is breaking up. Do you have headphones?
I don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay, that's right.
My computer. Like I have like the wrong type. I'll just like lean forward. You can all get a very close and personal with my face.
The guys will like the view.
I do think yeah.
It's breaking up again.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay. No, it's not your fault. I don't know whose fault it is. It might be my internet too, but it works and then it doesn't work. But anyway, so you identify with the word because it gives it the power. You believe that you give the power. We as a society give words whatever power we give it, and so you were raised. That's what you got up to believe what?
That a feminist is somebody who stands for equal rights for both of the sexes. And I think for me, it's an important word because worldwide, I think there's still a lot of work to be done for women and to empower women. I'm really passionate about the period poverty worldwide.
Yeah, you are.
Women don't have access to period products. I'm actually launching a business soon to help tackle it. And I'm passionate that there's women in Africa who still have their genitalia mutilated.
They do, yeah.
I think that's for me why that word is still really important, because even though in the Western world we've come so far, there's still there's still other countries where that's not true. So until those women have a fair seat at the table and their voices are heard, I think the word needs to be used, for me personally.
No, I understand. I would counter-argue that. My counter-argument to that would just be use the term egalitarian. The word feminism is lost. But, I mean, as you said, you feel your way, I feel my way. It's funny, too, because the moment you say, oh, I'm pro-woman or I'm a feminist, the groups that think that they own you would say, oh, this person's become this and this person's become that. It's like, no, it's actually true that see, this is what I used to say, and I probably could still say it. I'm not a feminist here in Australia. If I was in the Middle East, you bet you're damn right I would call myself a feminist there, because women need it there. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's all a matter of country perspective. Yeah,
and it's such a multifaceted topic, and it's like what I said. I think it's the word that like for me, it's a word that empowers me to help do the work that still needs to be done for those that are less fortunate than us. Because I think when we're privileged, as most of us are in the countries we are from, in a white country, then you can use your privilege to help others and empower others. So for me, that word helps me do that on a level.
No, I understand. That's completely fair. So can talk to us a little bit about this period thing, because when I saw your Instagram on periods, I'm like, what the hell is she doing? Ew. Why is she talking about periods? So it's sorry men who are watching. Is it the cup thing? Because that just what is it? Like, I don't actually know what the period thing is that you're assisting with, or that you're helping advocate for.
What I'm advocating for in that particular video is just more sustainable period, like menstrual products, because
rather than just a pad or a tampon.
Yeah, pads and tampons go into landfills and we waste heaps and heaps every single day. So one menstrual cup can last a woman up to 10 years.
A cup. So, okay, I'm sorry again, everyone, and this is me being inexperienced and not knowing anything. You shove a cup in there?
It seems really weird, but like the cup itself isn't that big and it like folds. The lumps are really nice. And it folds and it goes.
So it's like a rubber cup?
It's silicone. So
silicone. It's a silicone cup. Okay.
So it's really pliable. It folds. You cannot feel it in there. It's not really that big, and like it gets a little bit to get used to. But I think like period.
Yeah. Would you be walking? Wouldn't you be walking like you got off a horse? Once you take out the cup. Okay, sorry.
Really, it's weird. Don't worry. When I first heard of menstrual cups, I was like, "What?" But then because I like this stuff, I tried them and like I love them. And for me, like there's so many different brands, you can use so many different things. And I was just some of my favorite. And I got onto them as just a sustainable option. But what I'll be doing is I have my own brand that I'm launching with my partner called Tipsy Aunt Flow, and we haven't released yet what the product will be, but we'll actually be selling a product that anybody can use. It's not a period related product, but we'll be donating. It's just a product, and we'll be donating 50% of the profits to help be donated to charity for ending period poverty.
Period poverty, is that what you just said?
Yeah, to end period poverty we'll be donating our profits.
That's really nice. And so, did you say something about period underwear? Sorry, guys watching. I told you this was not a political chat today. Yeah. Okay, so what is that made of? So you can just wash them and reuse them, unlike.
So they're just like normal undies,
like
and then, like cotton, and then I don't know the science behind it, but they have absorbing pad that can be reused inside it.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right, good to know. I wouldn't mind trying maybe the underwear. The cup I'm a little bit skeptical about, but I do like the idea of not being wasteful. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, okay, cool. So tell us a little bit about your time with Miss Universe. So in 2017, you were a contender for Miss Universe Australia. What is that process like? Like, how do you get into that? Is it like a huge questionnaire form that you have to fill out or whatever it is?
Well, it's a pretty big process. When I did it, you had to submit and answer some questions and submit some photos. And then from there, you had to do multiple different like stages and I guess like heats to get through. So we had like preliminaries. So you had to do question and answer, swimwear, interview, and evening wear. So you had to do like a parade in all of them. And it's like a super fun process. I learned so much about myself. Like, it's so silly to think that you can learn
you're braver than you thought, or
and just like, I guess, think how many times in your life you've had to sit in front of a panel full of 10 judges and tell them yourself. Like, to be able to, it's nerve-wracking, but so much, because you need to learn how to present yourself and to say what you care about, what you're passionate about, and who you are. And then it's so much fun. Like, I like being in a bikini. I'm confident in my body. I think that if you want to
look good in a bikini. If I was a lesbian, I'd be like, what? That one? No. Just kidding. Girl crush.
But that's the thing. Like, if you want to rock it. Like, I love being on the stage. I love that they do bikini. It was just fun. I made so many good friends. I learned so much about myself. We got to go to Bali. Like, it was super cool.
Awesome. And who got it that year? I don't even remember.
Olivia Rogers, who, like, I would pick her, like every time. She's amazing.
What's her name? Emily Rogers?
Olivia Rogers.
Olivia Rogers. Oh, okay, cool. I'll have to look into that. But well, she's pretty, I'm sure, but it's all very like what Miss Universe Australia was Jennifer Hawkins, and she was beautiful, or is, she's not dead. And then like I don't know why I said it was. Australia doesn't do too well in those competitions. Usually it's all the Latin American countries. So it was good that she put Australia back on the map, and then since Jennifer Hawkins, Australia became a top 10, top 20 contender after that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's notice, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and that's so true. And I think like, I like it as a contest. I think it's fun.
I think so, yeah. And what I don't like is how they've changed now, and how they're letting, and know this will sound mean, everyone, and I don't care. It's supposed to be about an amazing female human specimen. So when you change a competition like that, that starts allowing heavier women and all of that stuff, you sort of get rid of I'm not saying heavy women are ugly, they're not. I think Adele is beautiful, and she didn't need to lose all the weight. She looks great now, but she looked great before. I'm not saying anything against that. I'm saying that a particular competition that's based on this and this and this, that now changes because of this whole leftism. And the leftism makes people, oh, well, we should embrace this and we should embrace this. And you're changing something that shouldn't have been changed. That's just what I think. Well, what are your thoughts on that?
Look, I'm all about body diversity. I'm all about...
I know.
So it's a bit different.
I know it's difficult for you to answer, but go ahead. I'll stop interrupting.
No, and I think, like, everyone's entitled to their opinions, but from, like, if you want to talk to mental health, I think it's really beneficial for young girls watching it to see a wide range of different body types. So I like that. I think, and when you talk about it, they've had different body types, but they really haven't been that different, and there hasn't been that diverse. I think there's been like 1 or 2 girls who have been larger. So it's a very small move. And I think that the recent Miss Universe, like, it's owned by IMG now, and they've done an incredible job about showcasing like not just the beauty side of the girls, which I really like and I really appreciate.
No, that I like. Yes.
And I think it's just, look at Victoria's Secrets. They're going out of business because they didn't get with the times. And I think it's not just about like left or right or different things like that. But if you're selling clothes to people and the majority of people who buy clothing are above a size 12, then you need to show what your clothes looks like on size 12, or they're not going to buy.
I agree
they can put it on other people. So I think it's about like the world is getting more global. It's like we need to expand and we need to show more of everybody.
I have no issues with that. What I have an issue with is promoting something that's unhealthy. A morbidly obese person who needs a helicopter to get out of their house, them saying I'm beautiful. Sure, I'm sure you are beautiful at some capacity, but there's nothing healthy about your existence. You're going to die sooner because people are embracing something rather than saying, hey, you'll be able to breathe a little bit better if you lost a bit of weight. You'll be able to go for walks. You'll be able to do a little bit more with your life and be more productive if you're not struggling. Do you know what I mean? It's not beautiful to be morbidly obese. I know this puts you in a difficult position, but what do you think about that? What I'm saying?
I don't think it's hard because obviously there's once you get past a certain weight, like it's not healthy, but it's also really unhealthy.
I think Adele would have been fine where she was, but anything like that.
And I don't know. Like, I just think that I don't know if it's particularly helpful to like fat shame people like that. And I think like there's a lot of work like in the mental health like department of things. There's a lot of work about how a lot of morbidly obese people actually have a mental health disorder, because if you look at anorexia, these are people who starve themselves and they don't eat, and then you have the other side who struggle to control their eating. And I'm not here saying
it's all
like
mental health.
And I'm not saying like fat people have mental health issues. That is not what I'm saying. And I don't think that fat necessarily means unhealthy. I think that when you get to a certain point and it can be like that, but I think there's also a lot of people who are what the media would deem as fat, who are actually still very healthy. So it's not, body shape isn't always an indication of your size.
That is true.
Yeah, and your health. And I think when we just call people out and like fat shame or do different things like that, like you ostracize a group of people, and if you ostracize a group of people, you can't help them.
That could be true. I didn't think of it like that. I'm not saying to shame them. I'm not saying to go around, go up to them, point at them and laugh and be a bitch. I would never do that to a person who is heavier. But I do think we have to be careful about praising something that could lead to your death sooner. That's all. And that you're right about anorexia. I didn't include that. You're right on both ends of that, and that's something that I'm happy to say.
And I think my problem with like that argument is just a tiny bit of like, the media or TV, like we glorify smoking still, like it's cool to smoke in a lot of like cool like this or that or drug. So it's like, it's very picky and choosy sometimes. And I just think like it obviously doesn't help necessarily. And like cultural, like shame is at a cultural level as well. Like it's not just at a like individual going up to people, and like the issues you can cause for like young girls by not showing at least some diversity in the media is so much worse than maybe showcasing that there's all different body types. And that like I agree, like we don't put sick girls on the runway anymore. Like you can't put an anorexic underweight girl on the runway. So there has to be a balance to that on some sides. But it
yes, that's all I'm saying. I don't think anyone's nice.
Yeah.
No, I get that. What about your, okay, so this website you have, everyone, she has a website called MTM, Mind the Model, and the first thing you see when you go into that website is you, pretty black lady, and then I think one of the women behind you was a mother, and these women are in fact trying to be proud of their body. I think that is great. I actually do think that's a good thing. It's different than glorifying what I was just saying, guys. So I'm not a hypocrite. I do think it's good to allow women to feel comfortable in their skin, as long as it's not promoting unhealthy heaviness and unhealthy skinniness, which actually the modeling industry did for many years and no one said anything. So I don't like either end of it, so I'm being consistent there. But yeah, tell us a little bit about that venture, that photo shoot, and the women that you chose and how you know them.
That photo shoot was like so much fun. It's like my favorite photo shoot I've ever done. And it was, I don't know, it was so cool. My mum is one of the women in it. My cousin is another. Some of them are girls from my agency. They're all people who I know. And it was just like,
nice.
Yeah, it was really nice to get like a bunch of women together for the day, and we just had fun and we felt confident, and we just like celebrated each other, celebrated our bodies. And yeah, it was just really cool, and like it was super special for me to have my mum there as well and share that with her. And it was such a fun day. And I think
nice.
And I think they're the kind of like campaigns we need to see more of. Like, there's all different sides, it's diverse. Everybody was like feeling confident in themselves and rocking that. And yeah, that's what I love.
That's so good. It was really funny, guys, because when I was trying to communicate with Naomi, I was so belligerent, and I like Instagrammed her all the time, and she wasn't looking at my Instagrams, and I was getting angry, and I'm like, what the hell, is she ignoring me? So when I finally emailed her and I'm like, I want to interview you, she was like, oh, you want me to interview you? Yeah, I'll interview you. You want to be part of my thing? And I'm like, no. I want to interview you. I want you to come on my channel. And I had to delete all of my Instagram posts that I sent her because it was so obsessive. And then I just left the one private message. But yeah, she was like so willing to take me on. I'm like, I have horrible skin and you don't want me for the website. You're like, that's the point.
One, I do. And two, I'm sorry for those messages. I'm like hopeless. I do not check my requested messages like
you
ever.
Don't, you stupid cat.
No, literally, I don't. Like I should, but like I get sick of being.
You really
don't. Oh, well, look,
it's okay. But as we were talking off camera, and guys, I've met her before. I'm not going to say how I know her because I don't want anyone to. I know a lot of people hate me, so I don't want those people to do anything to the businesses that I was previously at. But I know Naomi. I don't know her. We're not like best friends or anything, but like I already knew of her. And then I was like, oh my gosh, that girl, she does really good stuff now. Yeah, so it was kind of cool. But we've met in the past where it wasn't really nice. Yeah, she was telling me off camera that she tries not to have her phone on her all the time. And I do the same. Like I have mine next to me because it's literally charging. But usually, like when I go to church, when I go for walks or anything, I try not have my phone on me. So you not checking your messages, I get it. Like it's probably healthier again. And you're all about like mental health. Sometimes checking your phone and checking messages and seeing what haters write or seeing even like none of it is productive or helpful. So yeah.
And I think like phones like have actually, well, it's not think like research has been proven, and the way that they did them is to hook you. Like it's like being
no, you're not wrong. Yeah.
Like they want you to be addicted to your phone. They want to sell your attention to people. So I think, like I'm in the process of breaking up with my phone and like
good girl, I should do that.
Yeah, I set boundaries of when I'm going to use it, where I charge it. Like it's this whole thing. And like, because this book, I'm reading a book like How to Break Up with Your Phone in 30 Days. And it legitimately, like she writes this bit and it's like a letter to my iPhone, and she says like, I remember when you first wanted to come to the bathroom with me. It was weird, but now it's just a private thing that I used to do by myself that we do together. And I was like, oh my God, why do I bring my phone with me into the toilet? That's so weird.
I know. can relate to that. I only bring the phone in with me if I'm like on the phone and I don't want to tell the other person, oh, I'm about to go to the toilet. So I'm just like pretending. And then I'm like, and they never know, but like, and then like, I'll tell them later, sorry, I just got to quickly go to the toilet. Let me put the phone. I'm like, I did that while I was talking on the phone to you. Do me the same favor. Just don't tell me you're doing it and keep talking to me or just hang up. Like it's either or. But yeah, no, it's good to read. So let's talk a little bit about that. We were talking about tactics earlier in our emails back and forth of how does one stay mentally healthy. You come off as a really happy girl on your Instagram, but you also do acknowledge on your Instagram when you're not feeling the best, which I think is good because it means you don't paint your life as amazing and beautiful all the time because life isn't like that. But for me, if anyone wants to know, an audience will be able to start asking questions shortly. For me, I go to church, I read the Bible, I read other books that are not the Bible, I walk the dog. When I'm in Melbourne, when I'm in Victoria, which is my home state, I hang out with my girlfriends. I have a drink. Like these are fun things. Or I'll unwind by watching Everybody Loves Raymond, an episode or two, like something silly, funny. What have you found that you do that helps you?
I think, well, for me, reading is like a big one. I love to read.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
I had to learn like how much to take on and how to say no and not to have too much play, to allow myself time to rest, go for walks. Like exercise and meditation are the two things that have been proven to reshape the brain. So if you exercise and you meditate, you're going to be able to help like change the structure of your brain in a really positive way to protect your mental health and also to improve your mental health. So they're two easy, free things that you can do when you're feeling not so good. And then there's like one of my favorite books I've read for it is called The Happiness Trap, and it's by Dr. Ross Harris. And it's from, he talks about acceptance and commitment therapy. And in terms of like, if you want a self-help book that has a lot of like actual tools and techniques you can use to apply to your everyday life.
That's good.
When I'm feeling bad, that's like my go-to book. So I work on that kind of therapy with my clients. And that's like a book you could read yourself that will teach you so many things about your brain that you maybe didn't know.
Oh man, that's really good. That's awesome intel to have. Okay, so you actually have clients. I didn't realize this. Do you want to talk a little bit about your work, or would you rather not? Is that like too personal?
So I can talk about my work. I can't talk about my clients because of confidentiality.
No, okay. Yeah, all right. So do you use hypnotherapy on them?
Yeah. So I hypnotize all my clients, and I use.
You do?
Yeah.
So sorry, keep going.
People think of a hypnotist as like, look into my eyes or like pendulum and stuff. And it's nothing like that. So when I hypnotize my clients, like you just close your eyes and then I'd have a conversation with you. And the way I talk and the language patterns I use are done in a particular way to help you just facilitate a different kind of state of mind.
Okay.
And when you're in that state of mind, it's kind of like when you drive to work and you've got into work and you're like, how did I get here? Like you don't remember.
You're on autopilot.
Yeah, you're on autopilot. So we're just kind of putting you in that mind frame so you can cut out that bullshit chatter that you usually have and just get deep into the mind. And then in there, I use like therapeutic techniques to teach you different things and work on things and to help reprogram the brain.
Okay, can I say something that you might not like? And I don't mean it disrespectfully, but I think you'll be fine with it. I'm a Christian, so drugs to me is bad. Alcohol is bad. Not that I've never done it. I mean, I haven't done drugs, but I have had alcohol. To me, hypnotism is almost in the same category in that you're not in control of yourself. Do you see what I mean? So I don't know whether you've ever heard that before, but that's a view that I've always had. So go ahead.
So it's really funny. Like I've been hypnotized multiple times and I've hypnotized a lot of people. And that's like it's a big myth that you're not in control. So you're
is that myth? If I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong.
Yeah. So like when I'm hypnotized or I hypnotize other people, you can still think. And if I said something you didn't like, you can go, oh no, and you cannot take it on. And I think like So, you know when you watch the stage hypnotist and they make people do all this shit?
Yes. Is that fake?
It's actually not fake, but the biggest thing there is it's about...
Yeah, keep going.
So it's about...
You're not selling me there.
I know. Yeah. Bear with me. So it's about authority.
Yeah.
And it's about people buy in to them as an authority figure. So there was research done ages ago after the Second World War into why people, like the Nazis, listened to these orders to do horrible things to people. And people just were like, oh, they're just bad people. But it's actually not that simple. So there was research done that showed nearly 90% of participants would... 90% of participants would administer an electric shock to somebody in another room to the point where they felt like that person was going to die, like it was dangerous, if an authority figure in the lab coat, told them to do it. Yeah. The average person would physically harm someone with an electric shock because an authority figure told them. So that shows you how much, as human beings, we bend to authority. That's
a very, sorry, not to say that nothing you've said today is bad. That line is the most epiphany type thing you've said today that I will take with me. That's really interesting. So it's about authority and control. That's really, really very intelligent comment. Yeah.
So when you have people who are hypnotized in a stage show, they usually think the hypnotist is this like authority figure who can make them do anything. And it's that buy-in and belief that when they're hypnotized actually makes that happen. So it's that wanting to please them and wanting to do that that's actually more powerful than being hypnotized, that does the control. So it's actually... It's really crazy, some of the studies they did after the World War that show how much like humans will just do what they're told.
Yeah, and again, I don't mean to get political, but I feel like that's what's happening now. I don't know where you lean, left or right. I feel like you're a little bit left and you are a little bit right. Not that it really matters because I don't want to talk about politics. But I feel like right now, at some level, would you agree with that the media is hypnotizing us or indoctrinating, not me, because I don't buy into the COVID crap. As in, I buy into some of it, not all of it. Like I cherry pick what I think makes sense. But anyway, do you feel like someone, now that I have a hypnotist authority on my channel, do you think that the media does that subliminally, especially the news and our politicians?
I don't even think they need to do it subliminally anymore. Like,
so it's outright. You're saying it's outright.
And I think like it's... our current political and just world environment is thriving off like everybody being segregated and separate and fighting against each other and having different points of views and being far this side and far that side and being in your face and being over the top, and people only want to hear the opinion of people that agree with them. So they tune into the media that agrees with their beliefs, that then only polarizes their beliefs more, and they don't add any information from the other side. When like, I just don't think an argument can actually be that black and white. Like life is pretty fucking grayscale. So like if you're just gonna think like it's just this way, then you're just being really naive, in my opinion. Like it's never that fucking simple.
Yeah, so I don't know why I'm laughing. You come off as such a good girl. She's like, oh, it's not fucking simple.
I swear like so much. Like I'm a
doesn't see your face. You shouldn't, because you have such a cute little baby face. You swearing is wrong. Stop it.
Like my nan is quite religious. Like I brought up in a religious family, but we all like truckers. Like our basic rule is like you don't swear at someone. Like you never say like you're an effing whatever.
Yeah.
But if it adds emphasis to the sentence, my family's all for it.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, can I tell you a story that I find kind of funny? I don't know if you think this is funny. This is my best friend. One of my best friends, her name is Lauren. It's personal life. No one knows who she is. But she was telling me a story about her. I think it was her grandmother. and they went to see some hypnotist. It's such a funny story. And the hypnotist says to someone in the audience, come up here, blah, blah, blah. And he's trying to hypnotize some person on stage, but the person on stage isn't getting hypnotized. But the grandmother ends up 1, 2, 3. The woman in the audience ends up getting hypnotized. I'm like, what? That's hilarious. And then whatever it was that was meant, I don't know what the thing was that the hypnotist was doing, but I just found it funny when she said that her grandmother ended up being hypnotized and she wasn't the target. The target was the person on stage. So that shows me it's about what you were saying. It's about authority over maybe the weak. Is that the right word? Or
it's not even weak. Like being hypnotized, like most of the studies have shown that like it's not got the main reason you can't be hypnotized is just because you're stubborn, not because like
so it may or may not work on me. It would depend on the day for me, I was saying.
Just like I am literally just accessing a state of mind in you, and the way I do it is
demonic. It's not like a spiritual thing at all.
No, not at all. Like it's purely just like I just speak in a way that the tone kind of drops. It kind of becomes a bit slower. I pace and lead with you, and I kind of just match you and take you into this bit more of a relaxed state and calm state. And then from there we do the therapy. So the on-stage stuff is so different from what it's like in a clinical setting and in a therapy setting. Yeah, and there's definitely like I've been hypnotized on stage, and for me it didn't work. My cousin, it worked like that. For me, it put me but I don't like being told what to do.
Yeah, well, fair.
And then I don't like, I'll do what I'm told if it's pretty much in line with what I want to do. But she wanted me to get really angry at the crowd and like yell and abuse the crowd. And that's just not in my personality type. And I just kind of was just on stage looking like I was drunk because I was like kind of hypnotized, but I wasn't wanting to do what I was told. So like if you don't want to do it, you won't do it. And then like other people from that same show, I spoke to them and they were putting it on, but like my cousin wasn't. So it does depend on the person, but that stage hypnotism in a therapeutic sense, so different.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So that's really interesting about the hypnotism stuff. I didn't think I'd get so much intel on that. It's really good information to have. What about the whole thing? This isn't what I wanted to discuss with you, but what about like the repressed? You know how they say that like another life, how they can contact another life. Do you think that's a real thing?
Like this is my own.
That something you really know
but
about?
no, and like I'm taught that. No, and I'm taught that it's not a real thing. And if you do that in Australia, you actually are not covered by your insurance.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
yeah. I think he's in love with you.
Look into my eyes. No.
He lives in Queensland, unfortunately, and she actually has a boyfriend.
I do. He is lovely. But yeah, like age regression is what it's called. And anything to do with like false memories or finding past memories and stuff you don't remember, it's like memory is really fallible. So every time you remember something, it's not like recalling a DVD or watching like a film. You bring it up, and then if you're happy that day, you will add more happiness to that memory. Or if you focus a little bit on one bit, you will amplify that bit. So the next time that you remember that memory, it'll be more in line with the last time that you recalled it. So it's always changing. It's always moving. So memory can be played with so much to the point that researchers have got just normal people and been like, oh, do you remember when you got lost as a little kid in the
You've led them already. Yeah, and you've led the witness already by saying that.
Implant a completely fake memory that the person remembers as if it happened. So with that, you can see the dangers of hypnotizing somebody and taking them into a past life or looking for sexual abuse, because you can actually implant something that wasn't there. So ethically, it's not good.
So you have to really have a trusting person. Like, if I came to you to hypnotize me, you'd have to really follow the ethics. And is there any way that I would know that you're following, you not specifically, but would be recording it, right? Would be recording it.
Yeah, you record it. One, you can hear what I'm saying, so you'll be aware the whole time. Most of the time, I do record my sessions. Some people do get amnesia and they aren't aware, but you record your sessions. And also, like, I'm registered with the Australian Hypnotic Association, and then I trained at an accredited accreditation. So if you were looking for a hypnotist, you'd want to make sure they were with the proper associations, they had their registration, they trained properly, and it wasn't just some backyard person who thinks they know what they're doing.
Gotcha.
Because it's the same as therapy, though. Like, if you go to someone who's not a good therapist or is not qualified, they can do a lot of damage. It's not like hypnotherapy or being hypnotized isn't this magic thing, but it can make memories seem more vivid, or it can implant something that wasn't there. But you can also do that with normal talking therapy without hypnotizing someone.
There you go. Okay. So it's just another option.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's another tool to use to help people.
Okay, so Pissy Leaks Pete, question for Naomi. What is your view on Miss Spain, Ángela María Ponce Camacho? That's how you pronounce it, everyone. A Spanish model, and openly transgender girl who won Miss Universe in 2018. Well, I'm glad the question is to you, because everyone knows my response will be.
Yeah, and I imagine.
Go ahead. What's your?
And I imagine we have different views on that.
Yes, I still think I don't think she deserves to be hurt or tortured or anything like that. I just don't think she's a female specimen. But anyway, go ahead. Answer.
I think, I don't know, I just more power to you. Like, I think that it can be a good role model for other transgender persons who are suffering the same thing. It's a really hard topic that a lot of people find transgender hard to talk about. They, that's
why we're doing this.
Yeah.
That's why we can do it.
And the way I view it is, like, these people, some people want to say they have a mental disorder, but if they can get rid of anxiety and their depression and all their struggles can be changed by identifying from a different gender, then that's a really simple solution. And if that person can actually live a really fulfilled whole life from doing that, and they're not hurting somebody, like, then I have no problem with it. It doesn't affect my life. And, like, if she was deserving to win it, then she won it.
I do agree with. If you win something fair and square, you win something fair and square. My hope is that she didn't win because she was a token. It's like, the token black guy, the token gay guy. Like, if it was genuine, then who am I to take that away from that particular Angela? But I do think maybe they should have a transgendered version of it, because the show is supposed to be for biologically born women. But again, I'm not here to say be mean to them. That's not my message, and that will never be my message. I got a lot of hate for having a message recently where I made a video about leave the transgender people alone. You wouldn't believe it, but people are saying, what kind of a Christian would say that? A good Christian that doesn't want transgender people hurt would say that. I just don't. Yeah, but my view on that isn't that different to yours. Yeah, if you deserve to win, you deserve to win. The only difference is that women, and there's a reason that men and women are segregated even in toilets and stuff. But anyway, I don't want to get into all of that.
Is like, with the toilet issue, like, a predator's going to hurt somebody. It doesn't matter what toilet they're in. And if you wanted to protect people, you'd probably better off just having individual toilets for all toilets.
I just think it's a non-issue. If you're transgendered and you're using the female toilet, no one knows. Who cares? Why make a transgender toilet?
Yeah, like, it doesn't need to be a transgender toilet. I'm pretty sure at my house we all just use the same freaking toilets. Like, it's just a toilet.
That's your house, though.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. If people have, like, segregated toilets in their own houses, that's a new thing. I haven't come across that yet. But
that's true.
Yeah, I just think, like, like, toilets don't necessarily, like, I'm so sick of going out to nightclubs or, like, a bar and the females having to line up for like 7 hours to go to the bathrooms and the guys can just walk in and out. I'm like, just make it all the same toilets so that I can just go to the loo.
Yeah.
Like, all individual toilets. It's just a toilet.
Yeah, my only issue with the whole toilet thing is like you're giving men who dress as women more access. If you're a genuine transgendered person, you're a genuine transgendered person. But if you're a man dressing, it's my fear would be I have a 3-year-old daughter. Say I don't, but say I had a 3-year-old daughter or son in the toilet with me, and I'm in the cubicle and the kid is not with me, and then there's a man in there taking advantage of the transgendered rule thing. Go, oh, haha, now I can go in there and just tell them I'm transgendered, and then he abuses my kid while I'm, in the middle of a toilet session. That'd piss me off. But again, that never has happened, but it could happen. I mean, maybe it has happened. I don't know, but I've not heard something reported on that.
Men go into female toilets to sexually assault them without dressing up as women.
Oh yeah, they just do it, right? Yeah.
Do it anyway. So really, like, it just seems like a bit of an argument that it won't make that much of a difference. Like, unfortunately, if a human wants to hurt another human, they're going to do it regardless of the rules.
That I agree with. Yeah, and I just don't think it should be made easier, I suppose.
But yeah.
No, that's all good. Okay, let's talk a little bit about your fashion. What is your style? Because I feel like sometimes you're in a bikini, sometimes you're in an overall, sometimes you're you're not as promiscuous. Sorry, I'm not implying you're promiscuous at all. But a lot of Instagram model type people are promiscuous, but you're pretty classy. Yeah, you show skin, but it's never vulgar. I don't think. Is that intentional? Or is that just how you roll? Is that calculated, or do you just roll that way?
I think it's a bit of both. Like I think it's who I am, but I don't particularly want any like sexually explicit stuff out there of me. So if I've done like shoots that are implied nudes, like I've been covered, and they've been done for my own empowerment and for my own use of the image. And I just think like my style is about comfort, and it's what I feel good in, and how I show my body is for myself and what I want to show and to empower me. And I think like Instagram, it gets easy to fall into the trap of putting up content for other people. Like, it looks sexy enough in this photo to get the likes, or different things like that. And I think that's a slippery slope, because then your life becomes about performing and pleasing other people. And they're people you don't even know, because they're on the other side of the screen and all over the world. And I think that's like super unhealthy, and something that I try hard, like whenever I notice myself slipping into that, to move away from.
Yeah.
But I think I have no problem with women who want to be fully naked or do those things. It's just not something I'm comfortable with. Like, I was raised as a Christian. I still have those values. But so there's only so much skin I'll show, but it's all on what I want to show and for myself. And I do like the idea of having some of it private. Like, the world doesn't need to see all of me.
No, for sure. I think that if I felt better about my body, if I felt like I had an amazing stomach, I would show bikini photos of me. I don't think that's slutty. I personally don't. But I don't have that confidence, so I never show myself in a bikini. Not really. Not like where I'm lying right and the photo's perfect. But it's like I see your photos and I'm like, oh, I wish I had a stomach. I hate her. I actually had to up my game today. I had a shower. I straightened my hair. As you can tell, I've been doing this a whole lot tonight because this side of my head ended up really boofy. So I put all my hair on this side because I'm like, I can't compete with Naomi Holt. So I've got all of these lights.
You look gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, well, that's the point of what you do. You're trying to empower women despite what they hate about themselves. And the thing I hate about myself the most is my skin. I just don't have good skin. I never have. Like on my arms, I have good skin on my face. Everyone's like, "Oh, you look so young. You look so good." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, that's my face." But I don't like my skin. It's bad. And that'd be like, if I was to do something with you guys, I'd be so scared because I'd be like, "Oh, my skin." But yeah.
Well, if you were to do something with me, like I would, at the moment, I'm just interviewing people and letting them use their own images that they love, and then I'll make them into the art. So you don't need to feel pressured. If you ever want to share your story, you can.
Oh, you're very sweet. So this is a friend of mine, Philosophic Cat. She's an amazing YouTuber. And she asks, can you ask her what she thinks of the tendency of this sort of online modeling to bring out some of the worst qualities of women in terms of vanity and narcissism? Good question. Yeah, that's probably true that some women become totally vain and narcissistic. How do you personally combat that, and what do you think about that at large?
I think that a lot of it's like fake. Like some of the people I know who have the most followers or different things like that are actually quite insecure, which I think with narcissism, that's like a really big thing. A lot of narcissists actually are highly insecure people. But I think like the world we live in now, like even though it's like vanity because you are sharing photos of yourself and people are preoccupied with their image, it's to the point now where people are so used to seeing themselves through an Instagram filter or through like augmented visual changing or through face tuning themselves that it's actually
can't hide on YouTube. Yeah,
it's like so detrimental that even though I feel like these women appear vain or narcissistic, they're actually probably insecure and it's probably not that simple. And I think as well, when you start tying people's like paycheck to their appearance, it becomes really hard and slippery slope for those kind of things. So I don't know if that answers your question. I do think that as a whole, like our whole generation is becoming a lot more image and appearance obsessed and wanting to change what they look like and present a different kind of reality because like we're given phones that allow us to do that straight away.
Yeah, I think with I think also though you advocate for more than just a pretty face. Obviously you know you have that, but you don't really talk. It's not like you go around saying, oh, guess what, I'm a model because this and that, because you also have a psychology thing. You have the backup of knowing about hypnotherapy, understanding the dynamic of authority and all of that, and psychology. So it's not like you're just doing that. But a lot of those girls that Philosophic Cat's referring to, maybe that's all their life is, because we don't know. So you've just said that perhaps they have more insecurity than we realize. Perhaps, yes, that's one perhaps. But another perhaps is that they probably only look at their followers every day and they're narcissistic. Oh, I need more followers. I need more this. I mean, even I get caught up in that. Not with Instagram. I didn't do a whole lot. You were very kind to share this interview and to share my channel and all of that. But I certainly got involved in that for a while. I was like, oh, I need more subs and I need more viewers and I need to share this more. I just don't care as much now. Like I'm like, if I can get a really cool guest, someone like yourself. Last week I had a guy who was an expert on giants that once roamed the earth. Like when I said to you that I'm trying to branch out of politics, I mean it. Like, yes, I'll still do politics, but I want to talk about girly things like what we're talking about today. Like and so don't you think it's possible that those girls get too caught up in it? Because you did say you wanted to break up with your phone.
So they definitely get caught up in it, and I think
and that's unhealthy.
Yeah, and that's not narcissism. And it's
no,
not
that isn't. I'm adding a layer to that. That's all.
Yeah, it's like it's so insecurity based and comparison based, and like so we'd call it like external validation. So it's for followers or for likes or for more of this, like anything external from you to make you feel better eternally. So
that's not healthy. Yeah,
it's super unhealthy. Like super unhealthy. So and that's really bad. I've fallen down that trip before. I mean, down that trap, whatever. And it's so easy to get caught up in, and especially like what we're saying, like they make our phones to make us addicted. So it just feeds into that. But what you said is right. It's an obsession of these people, and it's not healthy in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Elizabeth Oakman, one of my fabulous, beautiful moderators, she wants to know, do you believe in heaven and hell? Do you believe in that concept?
Yeah, I always have. I don't know, like it's something I think about a lot. I guess I hope there's heaven and hell. I hope there's something else. Like I hope there's a meaning, even with a faith. Like I've shared before that I don't like I was brought up a Christian, but I'm not like a big fan of the church or like organized religion, but I have a faith, and I'm trying to figure out what that exactly looks like for me. But I do believe that there's a higher purpose to this and there's something else. And I really do hope there's an afterlife.
Yeah, same. Oh, can you imagine living life just thinking that we die and that's that? That's just too depressing. I think we have a maker, and I think he loves us very much. Let me have a look and see. What would you? Oh, okay. This is a good question from Richard Bonner. Oh, actually, before I put Richard Bonner's question up, this guy is being nice to us. Both of you ladies are beautiful. Ah, thank you. Naomi, what would you? I don't know why I'm reading it like that because I'm like, Naomi, what would you like to do with the chance to be a role model for young people, especially for young women? Rick Bonner, Pennsylvania. You always end your messages that way. You don't have to say Rick Bonner, Pennsylvania, dude. It's okay. I know who you are. Go ahead, Naomi, respond.
What would I like to do with the chance? I'd really like to teach young women that they're worthy of love and belonging exactly as they are right now. There's no ifs, there's no buts, there's no when I get this or when I do that or if I'm accepted. Like as you are now is enough to be loved. You're worthy as you are. You don't need anything outside of you. And I think that's like really empowering. It gives you a really sense of worth and peacefulness. And whether you find that through, like, I think it's a very beautiful religious message as well, because I think like most people who believe in God, I guess would believe that God accepts you as you are, no matter what you've done. This stuff like his love is there for you, or her love, however you imagine God.
God wants us broken. God wants us broken, and then he wants to give us peace. Yes, you're absolutely right about that. He loves us in our worst state. Mm-hmm.
I just want women to know, and men, that like there's nothing you have to do or prove or have or get. Like you're worthy as you are.
Oh, look at you. That's such a kind message. Good girl. I love that. That's very beautiful. Philosophicat again. Follow-up question. In regards to insecurity, what is her opinion on the cultural factors that lead to insecure girls seeking validation through praise of their appearance? Good question. Yeah, so there's a systemic thing happening there. How would you combat that, or how would you respond to that question?
I guess my opinion is that it's a big bloody problem. Like we have this problem where like women are raised to like, you know, you look pretty and you do this, or, you know, you're so beautiful, or this or that. And it just feeds into this thing of like, we're worthy because of our appearance. And then with Instagram and all these different things, like you can upload a photo of yourself and you can be validated by every single little love heart you get, or every comment you get, or every follower you get. And it just like feeds in, perpetuates this idea that you're only worth what you look like. And I think that's really unhealthy. And I think it comes back to that idea of trying to teach our young girls that none of that actually matters to who they are. Like their worth isn't based off their appearance. It's just based on them being who they are, regardless of all that. And I just think, it's shit that's what's happening, and hopefully we can learn to break the cycle.
I agree. All right, guys. I'm going to allow a few more questions because we're over the hour, and I think Naomi might want to do some other things. So let's go. If this isn't a question, girls, get married, have children, be faithful to your husbands, whatever NB means, pro bono. Sell you cats and dogs immediately and follow your mother's and grandmother's life, please. I'm happy to be a mother. I'm happy to get married. I'm not one of the feminists that opposes that. Thank you for the advice. A little unsolicited, but I'll take it.
Give me unsolicited advice. I can make choices on what to do with my own life.
Yeah. You have a boyfriend. Might become your fiance. Who knows?
Yeah, I if you want to get married, do it. If you want to have kids, do it. Like, you know, be faithful to your husband. Your husband can be faithful for you too. You can be faithful when you're not married. I don't need to follow my grandparents. Like, can do I think we've come a long way since our grandparents' day and age.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I think it's awesome that you are a pretty girl, but you've got an education behind you. You're not just speaking out of your ass. You kind of have a foundation. I wouldn't have just grabbed a random pretty girl for my channel. I mean, maybe I would, but like, how would we talk about her boobs? Like, there'd be nothing there. With you, we can have a conversation. Do you want to be a mother? I mean, I don't care if you don't. Like, that is completely yours.
I do want to be a mother. Like, for me, my education and my work comes first. Like, I think being a mum will be really fulfilling, but I think what will be more fulfilling is like my career and helping people. Like, I know that's what my calling is, but like, I want to be a mother. And
I think once you have a child, you'll change your mind. I think you'll be like, these children are my life and my world. But I do think what you're doing with the mental health stuff is important, and that is currently your big baby. So that I get what you're saying. I think the priorities will shift once you're a mum.
I think my kids will be a priority, but like I know myself so well, and I know what makes me happy is helping other people, and I want to help my kids and raise my kids and give them a good life, and I always want to be there for them and a good mother. But I know that like I will always need to work as well.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair. I think that's it. I think that's it for all the questions. Hang on. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, cool. So I appreciate everyone joining us. Please be a bit okay, last question. Please be a bit politer. There's no need to be she has her own views. There's no need to impose your anti-feminist views. I haven't done that to her, so you guys don't need to do that either. Dia, you can both answer this if you want. Do you feel like you're treated differently because you're pretty? I'm not answering that because in my whole life, Philosophicat, we spoke about this. I didn't know I was pretty up until recently. I've always been treated for my personality and my brain rather than my face. The face came like many years later. I didn't know I was anything. Do you feel like you're treated differently because you're pretty? And do you think people have misconceptions about what it's like to be pretty? You can answer that. I'm not answering that because I've always been treated for my brain and my silly, funny personality.
No, that's fabulous. I think that's what you should be treated for. Like, it would be stupid of me to say like you're not treated differently because you're pretty. Like, doors have opened for me because I'm beautiful. Like, I'm beautiful. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not here to like.
You're universally beautiful. That's how you're viewed. If you pretend to be, I might be like, oh, what a liar. Yeah, you are beautiful. You are very beautiful.
Version of beauty. And in a lot of ways, it does make my life easier because of it. And that's why I try to use the privilege and the platform it has given me to talk about things that I think are important. And I think that in terms of like misconceptions about being pretty, I think the biggest thing is people seem to think pretty girls or models can't be insecure or can't be sad. I get it thrown in my face all the time. Or like, you wouldn't know what it's like to be anxious or sad. Like, look at your face. Or you don't know, like some of the girls I know who are like the most beautiful people I've ever met are like highly insecure because you're comparing yourself against other people who you think you're better, but you've only ever lived in your own body. And you've only been through your own experiences. So therefore you don't know what it was like to walk in their skin or not walk in it. So I think that's probably the big misconception is it doesn't matter what you look like. You can feel shit about yourself. And it goes the opposite way too.
So what do you hate about yourself? I admitted on camera I hate my skin. Give me something that'll make me happy that you hate about yourself. No, just kidding. That's mean.
I can talk like like not to hate myself. Like I get annoyed when my skin breaks out. I do get really hormonal skin issues, and that like frustrates me. And like sometimes dark circles, but like overall, like I'm really fun. I don't hate any part of my body. But like when I was younger, my hips like dip in like. So I go out and then they dip a little bit, like where my undies sit. And like I look at my body now, but I hated it when I was younger. And and I think we all have something like that, and that we not learn. It's almost like we just either initially hate it or we're taught to hate it, and we have to learn to love it again, or at least just I don't think you have to love everything about your body, but you just have to accept it.
No, that's true. I mean, I accept my skin. I know if I was rich, I could change it. That's the issue. Okay, this is a question. It's a little political, so I hope you don't mind. What are Naomi's views on interracial relationships and diversity in general? Well, I'm a product of an interracial relationship.
Yeah, I was like, hang on. For some reason, my brain was just dying. I
like
don't
black with white with Asian.
I don't know how to answer this question because like I just think it's like who isn't interracial in some way. Like like I'm for them and I love diversity. Like it's just like
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm not gonna I'm not going to push you to say something that you don't want to say. Yeah, that sounds great.
I don't have anything else to say. Like, I think it's a good thing. And I think diversity is a good thing. Like, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, fair enough. I understand your perspective.
Mm.
You might not do next interview in a... No, I'm not going to ask her that. She doesn't want to do an interview in a bikini. If we were both in the beach, perhaps. Is there any questions that I missed? Any good questions that I missed? No, okay. And a lot of... What is this? What is it? I hate the misconceptions people have about me based just on what I look like. You are pretty philosophical, Kat. It's astonishing the assumptions people make about my life. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Once I realized, because I never really was told when I was younger that I was pretty, because I never heard it. I think it's because I was so awkward and so socially retarded at times, and so that became more what people saw in me. But then years later, when I realized that people validated me that way, saying, "Oh, dear, you're this, you're this, you're this," and I was like, "Am I?" It became weird. So I've lived my whole life not knowing it, and then when I finally realized it, I'm like, I don't know how to use it. Like, who am I going to manipulate today? I'm going to use my female prettiness and my female power to get that guy. Nah, everyone says I'm naive. Everyone says I'm like socially sometimes really retarded. So yeah, it's not something I know how to use. But if my prettiness was being used in any way, I'd have my own show by now. So it's not doing anything for me. But I do like to interview people. I do like to talk to people. I use my brain, hence why I do more politics. But yeah. But I see your point, Philosophica, and I see your point, Naomi. Do you have any models that you like really like? Like, one of my favorite models, a lot of people don't know who she is, because she was back in the Maybelline 90s, but her name is Christine Turlington. She's half Latina, half white. She's friends with Naomi Campbell and Kate Moss. She's quite beautiful, and she's one of my favorites. Do you have a model that you would model yourself under that you think is an inspiration, or not inspiration, but just someone that you think is cool? Is there a particular model that you're a fan of?
Look, off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone.
That's a good thing. That means you haven't modeled your life after pop culture. That's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
You can't think of someone. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I love all the 90s was just such a beautiful time for supermodels. Like, in terms of this, were just so iconic, and I can relate to all that. But like, I probably don't just like have one model that I look up to. I was always like Lord of the Rings and like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and like just like fantasy.
You're a bit of a nerd, are you? Cool. You like that kind of stuff?
Yeah, a geek. So that's probably, I could ask those questions easier.
No, I'm a different type of nerd. I don't mind Lord of the Rings and all of that, and I'll watch it, but the nerd that I am is DC comic books. I love the show The Green Arrow. I love Supergirl. I love Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash. That's my level of nerd, and I'm all about those TV shows. My favorite shows are those shows. Yeah. There's a lot of going on in the comments, but I don't think anyone has any other questions left. So I think we'll leave it there. Thank you everyone for commenting. I had a very kind, polite guest. So for those of you who were lovely and kind, thank you. For those of you who offered unsolicited advice, okay. Not offended, but okay.
You can give as much advice or give your opinion as much as you want, but it doesn't mean I have to take it on board, just as like you don't have to take it on board.
Exactly. I'm just really thankful that you came on, not knowing exactly what. You were very open to coming on, and I don't know whether you knew all of my politics, and you were great. And I think that's part of your message too. Like, different people, diversity of thought is part of diversity, right?
Yeah. I think you need to be open to hearing like both sides of the story. Like, you need to be flexible and be able to hear both sides. That's just, I don't know, like if we just keep blocking each other out, we're not going to get anywhere.
Exactly. And as you said earlier, with the media and all of that, like, they're pushing us to hate each other. They're pushing us. They're doing it outright. You said it. And we do need to be able to talk. So, yeah. Anyway, okay, guys. Go away.
Little puppy to end it.
Sorry, I can't. Go away. All right, guys. The dog doesn't want me here. Hang on. There he is. Little Trumpy.
Oh.
I didn't name him Trumpy, okay? He ain't my dog. All right, we're going to end the broadcast. Thank you, guys. Tune in next week. I'm not sure who's coming on, but I'll have a different guest next week.